Hello, my name's Jupiter Hadley, and very recently I went to JamJam. JamJam is a festival where I forgot to record my intro because I was having too much fun. But JamJam's a festival sort of about game jams, but not exactly to do with game jams. Does that make sense? It's not a game jam, but it is about game jams. There are a lot of people there that actively participate in game jams, and they go to game jams, and they host game jams. And there's a lot of people giving talks that have to do with the game jams in their area and the games that they've created and how game jams have affected them. And there is actually a game jam that happened on workshop days, but it's sort of this big relaxing thing, festival. And there's plenty of food and people, and it's really low-key in the middle of the mountaintops in Finland, and it's really, really, really wonderful. It's one of the coolest events I've probably been to since starting. There are, on the first day, a bunch of talks, and I was invited to be a keynote speaker talking about covering game jam games and what I do within the industry and indiegamejams.com. But there were talks by a lot of other people, including ones about like accessibility in games, and one about like specific game jam games that developers had created, and talks that went to talks that were from people who actively game jammed about how game jamming has changed their lives, or how the experience has helped them grow. On top of all of these talks, there are also like a day of workshops, I guess. But there's a lot of just hanging out and free time and getting to know the people there, and that's one of the best things about JamJam. Unlike most other conventions where there's like talks and meetings and business, this is so relaxed. There were hot tubs that opened up after a certain time, and there were saunas in most of the cabins that you got to stay in. The cabins were gorgeous with these big, lovely kitchens, and everything was quite communal. So this footage of Ellie dancing is during one of the workshops, because they had workshops on the second day, and this was the 1-hour game jam workshop, where anyone could sign up to give a workshop, and then they could use any of the free buildings to run their workshop in. And there were tons and tons of workshops. There were ones on like making jam and making pancakes, and there was ones on talking about your game jam experience and doing makeup. And there were ones to host other events in the future and just talking about ideas around them. And there was a 1-hour game jam, which is a pretty cool thing to have at JamJam, the game jam at JamJam. So the second day was primarily these workshops, and I went along to a couple of them, but I mostly just relaxed because I hadn't been able to do that in a long time. A lot of these workshops were where people just came to sort of hang out around a common theme, and they just kind of structured the second day a whole lot more. But JamJam, I don't know, it's just laid back. None of these people on the second day had anything really prepared, so it was just sort of doing whatever you wanted. It reminded me a lot of Games Camp, which is this event where you walk in and everyone signs up to give talks or to hold anything. And I feel like you end up with such a different experience when that's how it is. Also, they fed me so much at JamJam. It was so great. The food was wonderful, and they had these communal barbecues that everyone used, and you could get some stuff from the shop. So I had chorizo hot dogs one day with sausages, and they were delicious. And everyone was so kind and nice. And it was just really, really, really lovely. And if you're interested in game jams, or you're interested in game dev, I would wholeheartedly recommend going to JamJam. It's probably it's one of the best times I've had an event in my entire life, and it was just great. And I can't wait to go back next year. I had so much fun. And there weren't any expos, there weren't any games to check out, there wasn't anything like that, and it was still one of the most wholesome and best experiences I've had. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this video and come to JamJam. Bye.